What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Maverick Man 101. Got a video today from Insolent Audits. Older women worried men are not going to be their retirement plans. Let's go.
So I just realized I have reached the age in life that I get asked out by someone half my age, and I get asked out by someone that is 20 years older. The answer is always no, but I'm like, boo-boo, how old are you? Do you really realize that I'm 40 years old? Anybody else? Maybe
No.
one day it'll be a yes, but at this point in my life, it's always a no. I think I'm just going to pray for in 2025 that God will open my heart to say yes to men
Should.
eventually. If
You
it's
should.
meant to be,
Good.
then it'll be. That's it.
How about new?
Oh, boo-boo, all I gotta say to you, Colleen, is when you want a man with resources to open up his retirement to you, it's always a no. I mean, this Colleen is at a point in her life where many experienced men will tell my younger viewers that her mind has not caught up with her body. Let me explain this very easily. Notice how she said that men half her age are asking her out, or men who are 20 years older. So in other words, younger men want to use her as target practice, older men see her as the younger woman. But in her mind, with all that plastered up fake up and filters that she's using, she still thinks that she could rock it like she was in her 20s. Except there's a difference here. See, the egg carton has probably one geriatric egg left to it. There are wrinkles where they weren't at. Skin is stretched out. And we can say the entryways are no longer as taut as they once were. The reality of having a family is practically zero at this point, or very close to it. The point is, expectation management is warranted here. I'm pretty sure that she...
I agree. I think the other thing from this lovely young woman, or excuse me, more experienced woman here, is the fact that, ma'am, you've just aged out. Whether it's your SMV, yep, younger men are going to use you for a target practice. But I think the thing is, a lot of these women don't understand is that when you don't do what you should have done, when you should have did it, you just lose out, right? I'm sure this woman probably had plenty of suitors when she was younger, when she was hotter, when she was more vibrant and lively, and she played them, right? She, or she played the nice guys, right? She went for the guys who are way above her level, way above her, punching point, right? Those guys probably used her, and then tossed her to the side, and now she's crashing out. And I think a lot of women are going to be this, right? A lot of women in my generation, millennials, a lot of Gen Z women are going to be this. A lot of Gen Alpha women are going to be this. There's already have been studies done about the number of women who will be single and childless by 2030. So, ma'am, this is nothing new. Well, at least in this generation, past few generations, right? Women hundreds of years ago, or 100 years ago, early 1900s, getting married, having kids around 21, 22, maybe 20. Now with feminism and women empowerment and having to find yourself and go on a journey, yeah, they racking up at 40 talking about why men don't want to date them, and it's crazy. Let's go to the next woman here crashing out. Dating over 50 is so weird.
Here, I'm growing the damn bangs out. But I was stupid enough to put my foot back in the dating pool. And so I have a couple of questions.
Okay.
Like, we meet once, right? Why
Right.
is it that the second time should be cuddling on a couch watching TV? I don't get it. And then when I tell you, actually, that's probably not what's going to happen because I conserve my energies. I don't share it with everybody. So,
Good.
we should get to know each other first.
Yes.
And then I met with best wishes.
Okay.
Like, seriously? How can we not be grown-ups at this point? You can't just go from 0 to 60 and expect me to be invested. Okay? Yeah, no.
No, 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 no.
Oh, well, this is just more evidence that women cannot handle rejection, even in their 50s when they're quote unquote grown up about it. Let me help you out, my geriatric queen, as to why men in their 50s, when they go out with you, they don't play the long game. It can be broken down to several factors. But the key ones are, number one, time, as in you got a lot less of it together. Number two, you got less to offer him, so he's going to invest less time in you. I mean, regardless of how you may feel about it, Colleen, men are not going to value what you want them to value. They're going to value what they value, period. And if you're not going to give it up, well, best of luck to you. And number three, at this age, you put up higher standards and higher demands that very few men are going to do. I mean, the only ones who are going to do it are the blue-pilled simp betas. And after they put in all the effort, you're probably going to blow them off because you're not going to be attracted to them. I hope this helps there, Colleen, but don't worry about it. You keep holding out. I'm pretty sure you're going to find your next Prince Charming in the not-so-distant future, as in...
Yeah, I think the other thing is, too, and I've heard CGA talk about this, dating is a young person's sport. So, ma'am, dating at 51, you really shouldn't be doing it. Two, yeah, I always find it interesting that women love to give the man that they are supposed to love for the rest of their lives, their Prince Charming, they give them their booty to kiss, right? Like, let's just say the age of, most American women, I think the average life expectancy, lifespan is, I don't know, late 70s, 80s, right? Depending on race. So let's say I think it was like 78 or something like that last time I checked for women, right? 78, close to 80. And I know over the pandemic, those numbers have dropped. So if she's 50, so you trying to tell me that you want to give the love of your life, your last 20 years on earth? Like that's what you want? Like that's what men should take? And it's not the best years of your life, right? Sure, you're grown up and you're a big girl now and all this other nonsense and you got your degree and your kids, but you also have a ton of trauma, a bunch of baggage, probably a bunch of ghost babies, right? If you get my drift, ghost babies, right? She probably got a bunch of them in her past. She's probably on some sort of meds. She probably has a drinking problem. Her health ain't right. I mean, I don't understand this thought process, right, of just giving yourself away from 17, 18 to 50 and then praying to God you find a man to take you on. This is nonsense.
The retirement home. Moving on.
Single and over 50. Do you sometimes not feel worthy? Well, I'm here to tell you you are.
Okay.
You really need to love yourself. It's not being conceited. But if you don't love who you are,
okay,
your life is never going to change.
Yeah.
There's so many things I changed about myself. I stopped allowing people to take advantage of me. I learned how to stand up for myself. I got tired of giving more and receiving less. I got tired of saying yes when I really wanted to say no.
Sounds like a you problem.
Are you loving more and not being loved enough?
Why she talking like that?
That sucks. You can change that because once you realize that you're worthy, you're important, you get all your priorities all in order. You being your first priority.
This is creepy.
Your life is going to change. Game changer. Know your worth. Sending you my love always. I love you.
Mama say that happiness is from magic rays of sunshine that come down when you're feeling blue.
All right, to all my female viewers out there, let me stipulate something. There's a reason why I chose this video. This is what I call a half-truth. What I mean by that is everything that she said in the video, was she correct halfway? And let me explain that. See, she was convoluting being worthy with self-love. Those are two separate things, but the way she was talking about it, it seemed like it was one thing. For example, you can love yourself all day long, but if in your head you think your bank account is worth $100 million and you look in there and there's only $20, now you can see my point. Self-love is one thing, worthiness is another thing. And being worthy of love, this is where men will chime in and say, wait a minute, this is a female message, because women believe that they are supposed to be loved unconditionally, where men are always loved conditionally. And the last part where she said, oh, know your worth. Again, that's a half truth right there. You see, the whole message is saying you're worthy, you're the greatest, you're the biggest thing, so know your worth at the end. No, that's not the same thing. That's like a 4 believing she's a 9. No, I will agree with know your worth as in be realistic with your actual worth. Women hype themselves up all the time, while at the same time they look at other women and say, oh my, she is prettier than me. But somehow, you believe men shouldn't notice the same things and choose you over a prettier woman or a woman that has other virtues that you don't have. Again, I'm not attacking her. I'm just saying that this video is full of a bunch of half-truths that only applies to women, because I guarantee you, if you give this to men and say, hey, here, follow this and go, men will fail at life if they follow that advice alone.
Yeah, I also think, yeah, she was telling some truths, right? You should love yourself. You should have some self-understanding and things like that. That's important, right? But when it comes to worth, unfortunately, ma'am, it's determined by the market, right? That's who determines it, right? Now, if you want to take that and say, hey, look, I think I'm worthy, sure, right? You might still have some time to give and some advice to give, sure. But if a man is looking for a partner to have a family with, to spend some more time with, to travel with, and again have as many kids as he possibly can, right? 2, 3, whatever it may be. Your worth does not equate to that. At least not naturally. You got to do some whole other Frankenstein-ish if you want to, right? So, yeah, you should have that self-understanding, but the worth is determined by the market, ma'am. And these were truths that women for millennia have understood. You know what I mean? It's called self-respect, self-esteem. I think Cat Williams does that joke where he says it's called self-esteem, right? Self-esteem. So yeah, sure. But when it comes to that market, you put yourself to worth, you want to put yourself in the market determines that, right? It's the same thing when products hit shelves or they go on sale or whatever it is. The market determines that. You are on clearance, ma'am. You're damn near at the point where you're just for free. Dare I say you're already there, but you're definitely on clearance. You've been on clearance. At 50, you on clearance. You on a clearance rack.
But don't worry, Queen. You're dating over 50 and you know your worth. Maybe you should calculate your worth as to what retirement home you're going to be able to afford. Wouldn't that give you a better measurement of worthy? Moving on.
So I did a thing last night, and I know some of you are going to roll your eyes when I tell you. I created a profile and put myself on a dating app again. I say again, but actually it's been 2 years. So why now? Why did I do it? Well, to state the obvious, it would be nice to actually meet someone, but I'm also curious. I have seen so many women on here and men talk about how difficult they're finding it in the dating scene, especially when you're in your 50s. I also saw an article where TV producers for a dating show for older people like myself have had to cancel the 3rd season because they couldn't find available or suitable men, which is interesting. So right now, I admit the odds are not in my favour, but I want to give this a go for a variety of reasons. Number one, I'm in a good place, mentally, emotionally, physically. I've done the work, people, so I know that I want to date as opposed to need to date, and there is a difference. Secondly, I'm being very intentional on how I approach this. I know my boundaries, my non-negotiables, and I'm also not afraid to articulate what it is that I'm looking for. And thirdly, I'm going to approach this whole thing with an open mind. As I've gotten older, I've realised the more that we narrow our options, the less chance we have of new opportunities coming into our lives. So I am going to document my experience as I go along because I believe transparency is a good thing. So don't forget to follow me to find out how I get on.
All right, this gorilla admits that this Colleen is definitely one of the more polite ones and has probably the most polite attitude when she's going to re-enter the dating market in her 50s. Now, starting off, I want to say that she understands that dating in her 50s is going to be more difficult. But this gorilla is going to venture to say that she knows it's going to be more difficult, but I don't think she fully grasps why it's going to be more difficult. And her own 3 points actually make it clear to this gorilla, and probably my more experienced male viewers have picked up on what I already picked up. So let's just go through her numbers. Number one, she says she wants to date versus needing to date, and there's a difference. That is true, but listen to everything that she said. She said that she has done the work mentally, emotionally, and physically. Can anyone guess what part is missing there? Financially. And financially is one of the big reasons why women in their 50s up start to date, because they know that they didn't financially plan things out and they want a man to come in and play Captain Save a 304. The second thing is that she knows her boundaries and her non-negotiables. That didn't sound positive, honey. That actually sounded negative. You see, at 50, you have far less to offer, so your non-negotiables may have more wiggle room. Out of the small dating pool that you have, you're going to put more boundaries on it? That doesn't sound like the wisest move. And number 3, you said you got to be more open-minded because before you would have discarded other men, but now you're accepting more. That contradicts number 2 with boundaries. But for all 3 of your bullets and all of your politeness, there's the biggest piece of the puzzle that's missing right there. You did not mention one thing that you offer men. Why would any of these men date you? What do you have to offer? All I've heard is...
Yeah, I was just going to say that. She really didn't say anything that she was going to do for a man that's going to date and take on this 50-year-old who I'm sure has a ton of debt, right? Credit card debt, maybe student loan debt, depending on where she's living, right? So everything was about, you know, it sounds like this healing thing that women always, you know, they stick to, right? It's on the first page of their dating playbook, right? They've healed, they've gone on their journey, and now at 48, at 50, at 50, 5, 38, they're ready, right? They're ready to come to your life and just really screw it all up. And that's basically what she's saying. So yeah, a lot of times, especially when you see these women on social media talking about their dating in their 40s and 50s, they're just screaming for help. They want that retirement plan. They need a man to help them. They didn't plan correctly. And so now they need y'all. They need y'all to come and pull them out of the dirt. I wouldn't.
I've worked on myself and me. Well, good luck to you in your journey. I'm pretty sure you're going to find the right cat that you're going to pair with the perfect box wine. Because guess what? Men have boundaries too. Moving on.
If you're over 50 and you fancy dipping your toes into the wonderful world of online dating, but you don't know where to start, I have done some research and picked the top 5 dating apps for the over 50. So at number 1, we have Silver Singles. This is best for people looking for love. It's predominantly based in the United States, but it is also gaining popularity in the UK. It's free to join and really good for anyone who is looking for a long-term partner. Number 2, we have Our Time. It's another website that's solely for the over 50, so you won't find anyone under 50 on it. This is best for local people who are trying to find someone locally because they organise events in local areas, so you get to meet other people face to face. This one is also free to join. Number 3, we have Telegraph Dating. So anyone who reads the Telegraph, they have their own dating app now. It's good for meeting like-minded people. It's free to join to a certain extent, as in you can search people's profiles and you can receive emails, but if you want to respond to people's emails, you have to pay. So that's something worth bearing in mind. Number 4 is Dating Over 50s. This is one of the most popular ones in the UK for over 50s. It's also free. It's also good for local meetups. So that's a good place to start if you're new to the world of online dating. And number 5, we have Elite Singles. And as I said, that's good for meeting like-minded people. You do have to pay for this, but they do carry out a comprehensive personality test to match you with people who have the exact same interests as you, the same personality traits. So if you're really serious about online dating, this is probably a good one for you. Let me know how you get on. Let me know if there are any that you use and which ones you prefer, and have a great day.
All right, fam, let it not be said that this gorilla is not fair and even and balanced. Why? Because this section right here, this video right here, I'm going to dedicate it to my female viewers. Now, most of my female viewers are in the age range of 40 on up. So ladies, consider this my public service of the day. Taking in everything that this Colleen said about all those dating apps that she recommended for women dating over 50 and all those good traits for all of you, you have to understand you're only half the equation, if that at most. Why? Because men understand very clearly where they stand in these dating apps. And if you think it's 50-50, I'm afraid you're not doing proper expectation management. Let me stop beating around the bush and get to it. All right. When men in their 50s, the ones who aren't blue pill beta simps, see women in their 50s going on these dating apps, they're thinking a couple of things off rip. Number one, they're thinking, okay, she's looking for a retirement plan. Number two, they're thinking, okay, she probably already took her ex-husband for everything he had years ago. She's falling low on funds, so she's looking for the next sucker. Number three is, all right, she can't compete with younger women in the other dating apps, so she comes over here where there's less competition, thinking that she's going to get a ring out of it. Number four, what they're thinking is, okay, all of you ladies in these dating apps, in these 50 plus ranges, none of you are first round draft picks. You are on the discard list. A guy in his 50s who has resources and can pull in younger women, he's probably not going to be on this dating app. And if he happens to be on this dating app, it's only because he's using this dating app as a backup plan for when the young women either decide to ghost, flake, or they crash. And this isn't me pulling it out of nowhere. I mean, you can go to forums on Reddit and read men in their 40s and 50s and 60s will say the exact same thing. It's just basically a dating strategy for them at this point. Now, let me help you out here, Colleens. If you're going to get on this dating app and you're looking for a long-term relationship, your standards are going to have to drop drastically. And you're going to have to implement a cutthroat dating strategy on these apps. We're talking about you're going to have to hunt down a widower. I mean, someone who was married for a long time, recently lost his wife, he's in pain, he feels alone, and you can go in there and swoop them up. I know my male viewers are going to get upset with this gorilla for saying that, but in my defense, this happens anyway, regardless if I say it or not. You don't think these women have already planned that out? I'm just telling them, hey, if that was your plan going into these apps, that's probably your best bet. But I will say another thing, ladies, when you get on those apps that have ads on them, don't be surprised when you see a lot of ads for pet stores that deliver products in your area, or ads about senior living centers. I mean, marketing companies are smart. They know their female audience better than women know themselves. Don't believe me? How many cats do you have?
How dare you?
I'm just saying, if you enjoy this audit, click.
I think another thing as well, and I mean, notice, this woman, she's, bending over, she's showing her, gifts that she has, right? Or, that I'm sure she's been using, right? Trying to talk to people about dating over 50 and sites they can use. First of all, ma'am, it's all for naught, right? And I'm almost sure half those dating sites that she named are owned by Match. I think matchgroup.com or match.com, whatever it is, that one conglomerate that owns all of those dating sites, right? I'm sure they own the older ones as well, or the ones for older people. And they're going through, I think, a lawsuit right now with Tinder and I think like OkCupid, because basically folks are saying that, they playing them out, you know what I mean? And of course, they're forcing people to pay, because if they don't, they're not showing their profile, but then they say they are. It's a bunch of mess, right? So men know that, older men know that. And again, why would these older men date you, ma'am, if he can go get a younger woman, right? These women never stopped chasing the Chad, right? Because I guarantee you, even this woman, or the women that we've listened to, I guarantee you, again, they've had opportunities, but they keep shooting out of their league. Once you get to your 50s, ma'am, it's you either wrap it up and just hang up your skates, or you just go for somebody who's in your league and just make it happen, or you just go get cats and buy some wine. I don't know, but I think that's crazy, man. The advice that they give for women over 50 should just be hanging up. It's over. Unfortunately, you've wasted your time. Folks, I think we are going to leave it there. Thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time, eat well, sleep well, be well. I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace.